Hi everyone, and welcome to this session on advertising to Gen Z. First of all, just want to start by saying I'm not trying to sell you anything today. Those of you who came to the session will know that this was really action-packed, just trying to get through, giving you as many insights as possible. And for those of you that missed it, I just really hope you find the information useful. But if you do have any follow-up questions, then please reach out to me. The QR code in the corner will take you to our link tree, which has all the information you need about us, including a link to our website. But let's dive straight into it. So the aim of today is to talk you through who Gen Zs are, what you need to know about them, the tools to advertise to them, and how to talk their language. So we're going to be looking at what actually characterises a person who is Gen Z, and then the platforms they use, how they want to be marketed to, and how you can capitalise on that. So first of all, let's get into the definition of Gen Z. I myself, unfortunately, fall into the category of millennial, although I really don't like calling myself that. And a Gen Z is essentially the following generation. So typically the age group of around 11 to 26. And mainly characterised by their fluency with digital media. They grew up with digital media. It's very much part of their being is to be using online tools and platforms. And also really interestingly, making sure that we understand that there's that emphasis on social justice and diversity as well. They're a lot more passionate about particular social issues. And that's all worth knowing when you're trying to tap into a particular audience and demographic. So let's get straight into what makes them tick. And we're using a platform called GWI, which is Global Web Index. And this provides us with over 40,000 different insights on target demographics. So this is something that we have access to and, of course, could use to look at any demographic that we're looking at. But today we're looking at Gen Z. So first of all, let's take a look at how do Gen Zs interact with brands. So really interestingly, that the most popular thing here is that they use discount codes or coupons. So they are very price conscious there. You can see on the third row as well, I spend my time looking for the best deals. So it's not necessarily about being cheap. I think there's definitely an element here of getting good value. So they like to use the codes to be able to invest their money on things they want to pay for. It's not necessarily always about getting the cheapest possible price. And we can also see here that, they research products online before buying it. That's very popular with Gen Zs, and also they're loyal to the brands they like. When we look at some of the things that are less important to them, so I buy products or services to access the community I built around them. They're not so fussed about that. They are not that bothered about buying premium versions of products. So actually, it's thinking about the disposable income they have and how they want to spend that money. Then we take a look at what are Gen Z's favourite social media platforms, and we specifically looked at this question versus the most used, because actually this is their own perception of the platforms they enjoy spending time on the most. So TikTok being the standout favourite as voted for. Then we've got Instagram, Snapchat and WhatsApp, and that makes up kind of the top percentile of all the Gen Zs surveyed. You're looking at 5% of them said Facebook. So we've got a much bigger audience response of those voting for TikTok as their favourite social media platform. So we are going to be diving into a bit more about TikTok, Instagram and Snapchat and how you can use those to advertise to Gen Z in a little while. So then let's have a look at how do Gen Zs discover new brands. So the first question we looked at was how do they interact with brands, whereas this is, finding out about brands for the first time. And it's really encouraging to see that the most popular thing here is ads seen on social media. So they are totally susceptible to online ads via social platforms. They're really open to that. So we've focused a lot of the content on today's presentation around looking at advertising on their favourite social media platforms, so TikTok, Instagram and Snapchat. I thought it was actually quite interesting that ads seen on TV was the second highest. So they're still recognising that that's a way that they initially discover and find out about brands, along with online websites and search engines and word of mouth. This is quite an extensive list. Obviously, we can see the smaller numbers going down. I thought it was quite interesting that actually like product brochures and stuff like that was really, really low. They're not tending to consume any physical collateral, and it's all online behaviours. And so where do Gen Zs research brands? And again, this differs because we've seen that actually researching about a product before they buy it is really important to them. So as much as they're most likely to discover brands through ads on social media, they're then going to go elsewhere and research more about brands. And the place they're most likely to first of all go is to a search engine. But also we can see it's popular that they would look and do research actually on social media as well, plus looking at consumer reviews. So all very important things to take into account. And then we look at what motivates Gen Zs to purchase. So really interesting here that free delivery and next day delivery are the top two. So, I think this leans into that immediacy and urgency that comes with the younger generation. And, not to offend anyone, but I think that has come from the kind of shortening attention spans that has been created because of the social media networks such as TikTok. We want to consume a lot of information very quickly. And so it's about creating that demand and urgency, and giving them a reason to kind of buy on the spot for something that they need quite urgently or they don't want to pay for delivery. But also we can see here coupons and discounts are ranking highly again. So we're seeing that kind of price consciousness there as well. So obviously this data, this is a very short snippet of what is actually available to us, but it starts to give us some insights into Gen Z as an audience. And from those insights, we can draw conclusions about how to market to them. So a couple of key things, and most of this I've already mentioned now as we go, but they're price conscious but still expect good value or quality. They're likely to shop around for the best deal. Their favourite social media platforms are TikTok, Instagram and Snapchat. They're very susceptible to ads and are happy to buy from ads they've seen on social media. And I do see that being true. The generation, they're very much kind of TikTok made me buy it. I bought it on TikTok Shop, seeing ads on there and buying products because of it. And I think as well, it's because of the repeated time you spend on a platform like that. So if you're on TikTok a lot, you will see ads a lot. And if you're playing the game right and you've got a variety of ad content and that is being split and shared across, and you can see all of that, you're repeatedly seeing something that is very suited to you because of the way the algorithm works. And it gets to the point that you think, I just need to buy this. So it's very clever how it works. We know that they'll use search engines, social media and customer reviews as ways to kind of research brands and find out more. And then ease and speed of delivery is a key purchase motivator, along with the discounts and customer reviews. So it starts to build a picture here of if you're selling to or advertising to Gen Z, really the key marketing tools that you can have in your kit bag that are going to help you to advertise this target audience. So it helps to start taking the guesswork out of some of what you're doing and going, right, well, if that's the audience we want to tap into, can we offer free next day delivery? Can we do discounts, coupon codes, and make sure that we are, slaying on social media in order to tap into that audience? So then we know what their favourite social media platforms are. So let's take a look at how you can actually use those platforms to advertise to them. So first of all, taking a look at TikTok, I just want to draw your attention to the white image initially. So this is a screenshot taken out of TikTok Ad Center, which is honestly TikTok's platform for marketers and advertisers is just phenomenal. For anyone who has spent any time doing social media ads so far on the likes of Meta, formerly Facebook and Instagram, it's not pleasant at all. It's difficult to use, difficult to navigate, just not an enjoyable experience. Whereas TikTok Creative Center, Ads Manager, it's got it going on in terms of the information it can give you. it could give you some of the information I've shown you from GWI in terms of being able to drill down into your target audience, and I will show you that on the next slide as well. But this is information it's given when I've put in, this is the target audience we're looking at. It can say this is the type of content that they're interested in, and give a clear list of that. So you can really lean into that, see if it's relevant for your industry, and then also get ideas of the types of content that you could be creating. So on the left-hand side there, have got a list of kind of the popular pieces of content really based on Gen Z. So I do get it a lot that a lot of people go, oh, TikTok's just full of kids dancing. And I really argue that that's not the case. But, it is something that's popular for the Gen Zers, is still doing the dance challenges. But on top of that, we've got things like cooking and baking videos, beauty and fashion content, life hacks and DIY projects, fitness and wellness content, comedy sketches and memes, and social justice and activism. And the key thing here that I would just really stress is just the importance of creating content that is still relevant to you, to your brand and your tone of voice. So you don't have to go, oh, well, do we just have to be creating loads of dance videos to engage with this audience? No, you don't. But, do you fall within an industry, a category of content that they're kind of interested in, and just lean totally into that. I spoke about how much I love the Ads Manager platform on TikTok. So this just shows a bit of insight. So when I've drilled it down to the kind of Gen Z audience, which is the turquoise versus the purpley blue, we can look, we can do age breakdown, gender breakdown, country breakdown. I actually only looked at the UK for this anyway, but you can get so many insights. It's just a brilliant platform, and you can sign up to go and look at this and use it without having to run any ads, without having a TikTok account. So I really encourage you, even if you're just kind of dipping your toe into this, to make sure you've got an account on there. Go and use these insights tools that are available to you, because it will help you to understand your audience more and what it is that they're doing on TikTok, if that's something that you're not sure about yet. And so the types of content you can create are things like trending sounds and videos. So again, in TikTok Creative Center, it will actually tell you what type of videos are trending, what songs or sounds are trending, and you can use those as inspiration to create your own content. And then you can take that, you can either use what is trending exactly, or you can take it and turn it into something original. So there is quite a kind of shift at the moment from trending and kind of popular audio and videos over to original sounds as well. So it's just about working out what's best for you and your brand. In terms of other things, sound effects and voiceovers is popular. That's kind of linked to the bottom point around ASMR, which is where people just like satisfying sounds. They find it very soothing and also satisfying visual. So any content like that, honestly, you would be surprised how many people would be happy to just watch a picture of you boxing up a product. It's really popular. So yeah, all that type of stuff. Dialogue or footage from movies and TV shows is a bit more niche, because if it's not relevant to your brand, I really don't recommend it. But yeah, there's loads of ways that you can tap into creating content that's going to work for you and your brand. So then we get on to Instagram and of course Meta, if we're looking at the advertising side of it. So I would love to be displaying and kind of singing the benefits of Meta and showing you all similar graphs to what I've shown on TikTok. But unfortunately, the insights just aren't there. I don't rate this as much as a platform for marketers, but it is a bit of a necessary evil because a lot of people are on there and are using it. So the main thing I really wanted to say about Instagram was how much more the aesthetic matters here. So TikTok is very much, pick up your phone and go. You should really not overthink the content creation. If you see something that you like, you see something trending, just create it. Whereas Instagram is a lot more thought out. Still not as polished as a Gen Y or a millennial might have done, with loads of filters and stuff like that. There's definitely a divergence away from using filters, but it is very much used for the aesthetic side of things. And interestingly, I put the note on here that because we had a Gen Z doing some work experience with us. She says she uses Instagram as her main method of chatting with her friends, and she only uses WhatsApp for keeping in touch with family because, it's seen as an older person thing. So I thought that was interesting, seeing as WhatsApp is what I use to communicate with people. And then moving on to Snapchat. So really interestingly, and to be honest, I'll probably just kind of flick over to this next piece. So again, Snapchat, phenomenal platform for advertisers, and think it's very untapped. Again, like I mentioned with TikTok, you could go create an account and just start playing around and looking at this. This is in the Audience Insights tool within Snapchat ads. And you can put in a certain demographic and then see insights about them. So I had put in the Gen Z audience here, and from that I can see the gender, can see where they're based, the type of content they're consuming. This is really interesting because the Gen Zs will, 67% almost of them, will spend time on the Discover page, which is essentially like a TikTok for you page. So this is not consuming content of people that they follow. This is new people that they are watching content for, and this is a great way to get your ads on there, targeted to a much younger audience. We can also see things like their top interests, so shopping, gaming, film and TV, and travel. So if you fall into any of those categories especially, I'd really be encouraging you to think about how you could use Snapchat as one of your channels to be targeting the younger audience. And so I wanted to make sure when we're talking about social media that we talked about influencers, because we've not yet mentioned it, and it wasn't in the kind of research as one of the key insights. And that's because there's a clear movement now towards this de-influencing, which is essentially where people are being a lot more honest about what's good, what's not. It very much used to be the day when influencers first started out that they would only say good things and avoid saying anything bad. And, we kind of got to a place where people don't really trust influencers that much because they just think they will promote anything to get paid. So this new trend towards de-influencing, it just all come back to the kind of authenticity of content and how genuine it is. So people are looking for kind of more real people to be recommending products. User generated content is very, very popular, and it's very different to the heydays of influencers. So influencers in some way, shape or form still have a place, but it's not really influencers in the way you might have previously worked with them when you were targeting this audience. It is going to be more who could be a great content creator for us and creating content for your own channel rather than necessarily expecting influencers and you having to pay them a lot of money to then promote your products and services on their pages. So then just for a bit of fun, I did also use the word slay earlier, but honestly, it's not in my common vocabulary just yet, but it is very much a Gen Z saying, certainly in our office for any of that generation. So here's how to slay at marketing to Gen Zs. It's very much about speaking their language. So we thought just for fun, we would put some expressions on here. We did make a Gen Z dictionary as part of this, which was quite good fun, but it's just to really stress the point that it's really important to understand them and understand this audience if you are advertising to them, as their needs, their language, the way they interact with brands is very different from previous generations. But yeah, I guess a bit of context. If you were to use GOAT, you would say, for example, Trio Media are the GOAT. Tea, in my age, I'm sure it was Spill the Beans. Now it's Spill the Tea, for a bit of gossip. Gucci means good, so you say I'm Gucci. Don't even ask me where that came from. It blows my mind. And then we've got some others. Yeah, it's giving. So when someone's giving off a particular vibe, but you might not even say the vibe. You would just be like, it's giving. And this is another one with like serving. So it's kind of incomplete sentences. Ick, so you say you kind of got the ick or something's giving you the ick if you don't like something, if you're a bit off put by it. Slay, it's just like great, awesome, slaying. It's just a bit of fun. So I said I wasn't going to sell to you, but obviously a quick little bit about how we can help. So we're a full service digital agency. So we design and build websites. I'm just going to flick through. We do SEO, PPC, social media, and kind of all the wraparound stuff to that, like content, video, branding and strategy. So if there's anything you've seen today that you like the sound of that I've mentioned, then would love to chat it through with you in more detail. We do also have a Gen Z report. So if you've watched this video and you're interested in getting the full report, we can send it over to you. That's not a problem. Or if you need help with any of these areas, then please don't hesitate to reach out. But yeah, and that's just a few brands that we work with. Thank you so much for your time. Thanks for listening. I hope to hear from you soon.